Hi everybody, thought I'd take a minute to show off some of my various costume parts. This is of course classic original trilogy Star Wars Stormtrooper helmet. Just a little bit of history. The original helmets were made, they were sculpted by Liz Moore, who oftentimes kind of goes uncredited um, in various kind of books and videos and documentaries and that sort of thing. But she was one of the original sculptors who, along with Brian Muir, who created the Stormtrooper. So it was Liz Moore who sculpted the helmet and Brian Muir who sculpted the Stormtrooper body armor. And Liz also was super talented, worked on 2001, and she also sculpted C-3PO as well too, or most of it. And it was Brian who kind of finished it. But this is a replica of the original A New Hope style Stormtrooper helmet. So this particular helmet is made out of ABS plastic, so it's very shiny, very glossy. Normally when you kind of are in kind of the Star Wars community, you have access to different makers and fabricators and that sort of thing. So this particular kit is built by ATA Works, and I got this one a few years ago. And if you've ever built one of these, it basically looks nothing like this. You just kind of get a few lumps of plastic and nothing's trimmed out. So what's involved is trimming out the separate pieces of the helmet. This helmet's in several pieces. It's a cap and back, which is all one piece, and then there's a face plate, which is the other main piece, and then there's these ear pieces or ear covers, and they basically kind of cover the ear and go all the way down. And so what you have to do is trim out all the plastic, trim all the edges, trim out the eye holes, trim out the teeth, drill holes for the aerators and the ears, trimming out all the outside of the ears so that when you assemble the faceplate and then the cap and back together, you rivet or bolt it together, and then the ears have to fit perfectly, or as close as you can. Try to kind of get them to contour to the shape of the helmet. So most of the time is spent getting that shape looking right. And this particular helmet is based on the A New Hope stunt helmet. So there's some different characteristics about these helmets. The stunt's got a very, very asymmetrical shape. It's got slightly more teeth here in kind of the mouth area. And you can see here, just in terms of asymmetricalness, this is called sort of like the bump or the sty in the eye area. And it's very, very wonky. So, a lot of times you'll deal with licensed companies that make sort of newer versions of the helmets, and they're very, very symmetrical. But in actuality, the original helmets were quite, organic, because they were literally just sort of sculpted out of clay, and then they made forms out of those. So this was a really, really fun kit to build. Pretty straightforward and fairly accurate. These are all hand-painted details. So going in and painting each of the vents and traps and tear duct areas in gray. And actually what I do is I actually paint the black first, a couple coats that, let that dry overnight, then I do the gray, and then I do any other details like these lines. So by that way you can sort of get these much crisper lines, and that's kind of just a cutting in technique that a lot of sort of painters and illustrators use. Same technique used on the ear caps here as well too. And then with the teeth, they're just hand painted in as well too. Same with this, they call it like the vocoder area, and that's just using a round tip brush and just doing some strokes down, and then just making sure that's really, really even all the way through. There's always been tons of debate as to what these are. People call them mic tips. Some people call them aerators. Some people theorize that they're maybe, sort of faucet aerators. But I think that was sort of put to rest. They're described as mic tips now. And so there's a few different makers of those that you can find too. Some are replicas, and some have been cast off of original or found pieces. So these ones are very, very accurate to the original ones. The only other sort of thing that I've added to this helmet, it's got a dark green lens, which is, in the originals they were probably a little bit lighter, but I like the dark green just so that kids and stuff can't kind of see into the eyes and sort of see who's underneath. And then I've done some sort of foam padding and a little fan inside from a PC fan. And then I've added a little bit of mesh behind the teeth. I know not a ton of people do that. Some still do. I still like to do that for this particular helmet, mainly because same thing. I use this helmet a lot for trooping and events, and I don't want kids to kind of see all the way through and see your face. So that's what I've done there. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the A New Hope stunt helmet. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you enjoy some of the other costume videos to come. Thanks for watching.